Ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to hear a message that is both timeless and urgent, a note left for you by God Himself. It is not written in ink, nor spoken in whispers of the world, but in the quiet stirrings of your heart. Listen closely, for within this message lies the guidance, strength, and courage you have been seeking. There is a profound truth that many of us overlook in the rush of our daily lives, a truth that whispers softly yet insistently in moments of quiet reflection, a truth that asks us to pause and consider the subtle, often invisible forces shaping the course of our existence. We are taught from a young age to look at what is tangible, to measure success and failure by what we can see, touch, or achieve. Yet there exists a realm beyond the physical, a dimension where the unseen hand of guidance, love, and divine intervention works tirelessly on our behalf. To recognize this unseen hand is to open our eyes not just to the visible world, but to the invisible patterns that weave through our lives, the intricate design that calls us toward our highest purpose, even when we cannot yet perceive it. Consider the times when life seemed random, when events appeared to unfold without rhyme or reason, yet upon reflection, it becomes clear that there was a rhythm, a careful orchestration, a guiding presence that nudged us, redirected us, and protected us in ways we could not have anticipated. We often encounter moments of challenge or unexpected turns, moments that feel like setbacks or interruptions to our plans, but these are frequently the fingerprints of guidance, a subtle encouragement to move in a direction that aligns more closely with our true calling. It requires faith and attentiveness to sense this influence, for the unseen hand does not always make itself obvious. It does not shout over the noise of our worries or the clamor of our ambitions, but instead operates with a quiet persistence, leaving traces in the form of coincidences that feel meaningful, opportunities that arise at just the right time, and insights that appear when we are most open to receiving them. To recognize this hand is to cultivate a kind of spiritual awareness, a perception that goes beyond mere logic or surface appearances. It is a recognition that our lives are not merely the result of chance, but part of a larger tapestry, one woven with intention and care, where every thread has a purpose and every experience serves as a lesson or a guidepost. In practical terms, this awareness manifests as an attentiveness to the signs and signals around us. It is noticing the people who enter our lives at just the right moment, the doors that open unexpectedly, and the gentle urges that prompt us to act or refrain from action. Often, we dismiss these moments as coincidence or luck. But when we cultivate the habit of noticing, we begin to perceive the subtle currents of divine guidance that flow through our everyday experiences. It is in this recognition that we develop humility and gratitude, understanding that we are not solitary navigators, but part of a larger plan, supported and guided by a force greater than ourselves. The unseen hand is not only present in moments of fortune, it is equally present in times of trial. When we face obstacles, disappointment, or suffering, it is easy to feel abandoned, to assume that life is arbitrary or unjust. Yet, if we attune ourselves to the presence of guidance, we can perceive that even adversity carries with it lessons and direction. Difficulties often redirect us away from paths that are not meant for us, push us to grow in character, and help us cultivate resilience and wisdom. In this way, recognizing the unseen hand transforms our understanding of struggle, for we begin to see that challenges are not merely obstacles, but invitations to align ourselves more closely with our purpose. This perspective encourages patience, as we learn that the unfolding of our lives is not always immediate and that divine timing often differs from our own. We start to understand that delays, detours, and waiting periods are not punishments, but opportunities for preparation, reflection, and refinement. And in these moments, the unseen hand is actively shaping us to receive what is to come with readiness and grace. Developing this recognition requires a deliberate cultivation of awareness, reflection, and sensitivity to the spiritual dimension of life. It involves practices such as meditation, prayer, journaling, and mindful observation, all of which allow us to quiet the noise of our minds and tune into the subtler rhythms of our existence. It is in silence and stillness that the hand becomes most perceptible, revealing patterns and nudges that were previously unnoticed. As we become more attuned, we may begin to notice synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that carry messages or confirmation that we are on the right path. A book appears just when we need its wisdom. A conversation with a stranger provides the insight we were seeking, or an unexpected opportunity aligns perfectly with our goals. Each of these moments is a gentle confirmation of guidance, a signal that we are being supported even when circumstances seem uncertain or challenging. Recognizing the unseen hand also transforms the way we relate to ourselves and others. We begin to see that we are not isolated agents in a chaotic universe, but interconnected participants in a larger design. This awareness fosters compassion, patience, and empathy as we understand that everyone is navigating their own path under the same subtle guidance. It encourages us to release judgment as we see that what may appear as misfortune or misstep in someone's life may in fact be a necessary part of their journey toward fulfillment. It also encourages responsibility as we realize that our choices, while guided, must be made with awareness and intention. The unseen hand is not a force that overrides our free will, but one that works in harmony with it, nudging, guiding, and supporting us without stripping away our agency. Recognizing this requires a balance between trust and action. Trust that we are being guided, and action in alignment with that guidance. It teaches us discernment, helping us differentiate between impulses born of fear, ego, or distraction, and those that arise from a place of deeper alignment with our purpose. This discernment grows stronger over time, like a muscle exercise through repeated attention and reflection, allowing us to navigate life with greater clarity, confidence, and peace. Furthermore, acknowledging the unseen hand deepens our sense of wonder and reverence for life itself. We start to perceive beauty, synchronicity, and meaning in moments that once seemed mundane or trivial. A sunrise, a kind word, a moment of stillness becomes more than what it appears. It becomes a reminder that we are not alone, that there is a force tending to our growth, our safety, and our destiny. This perspective nurtures gratitude. For when we recognize that we are guided, we begin to see each experience, each relationship, each challenge as a gift, a message, or an opportunity to move closer to who we are meant to become. In this recognition, fear loses much of its power. When we understand that guidance is present even in uncertainty, we can face the unknown with courage and resilience. We are no longer at the mercy of chance, but participants in a living, breathing process of creation and unfolding, supported by an intelligence that knows the paths we must take, even when we cannot see the entire journey ahead. Over time, this recognition reshapes our choices, our priorities, and our relationships. It calls us to live with integrity, to align our actions with our values, and to honor the subtle guidance that whispers to us in every moment. It encourages us to listen deeply, to act courageously, and to trust that even when the road is unclear, we are being led toward a destination of growth, purpose, and fulfillment. In essence, recognizing the unseen hand guiding our lives is not merely an abstract concept or a comforting thought. It is a transformative practice, one that infuses every moment with meaning, clarity, and hope. It teaches patience, resilience, and discernment, while also opening our hearts to gratitude, compassion, and wonder. As we cultivate this awareness, we begin to see life itself as a dance between our actions and the guidance that supports them, a partnership in which we are never truly alone. The unseen hand may be subtle, often invisible to the casual observer, yet its influence is pervasive and persistent. It is present in the gentle intuition that prompts a choice, in the unexpected turns that redirect our path, in the lessons embedded in challenge and joy alike. To recognize it is to acknowledge that our lives are held in a delicate balance of effort and grace, and that while we are responsible for our choices, we are also supported by a force that seeks our highest good. As this recognition deepens, we find ourselves more willing to surrender control, to release the need to force outcomes, and to trust in the unfolding of our journey. We learn to navigate life with a combination of courage and humility, taking action where we are called and allowing the unseen hand to guide where our vision is limited. This ongoing awareness becomes a source of strength, clarity, and comfort, a constant reminder that we are participants in a larger story, a narrative of purpose, growth, and alignment. By attuning ourselves to this presence, we become more aligned with our true path, more open to opportunities that resonate with our purpose, and more resilient in the face of challenges that once seemed insurmountable. The recognition of the unseen hand is, in essence, a call to live consciously, to honor the guidance that surrounds us, and to trust that every step, every experience, and every encounter is imbued with meaning, intention, and support. Trust is one of the most profound and difficult virtues to cultivate, for it asks us to surrender not just our fears, but our sense of control over the unfolding of our lives. To trust the timing of God's plans is to recognize that there exists a rhythm to the universe, a cadence that we may not immediately perceive, but that moves in perfect harmony with our growth, purpose, and destiny. Human nature often resists waiting. We want instant results, immediate gratification, and certainty that the path we walk will lead exactly where we hope it will. Yet life is not a series of predictable steps, but a tapestry of experiences woven with precision, timing, and wisdom that is often beyond our comprehension. To trust God's timing is to acknowledge that our perspective is limited and that the divine orchestration of our lives is working in ways we cannot yet see, understand, or measure. Often, we encounter moments when doors close, opportunities are delayed, or plans seem to falter. It is in these moments that our faith is tested, for our immediate perception may interpret such experiences as failure, rejection, or misfortune. Yet when we step back and reflect, we begin to see that these delays and detours are not random, they are purposeful, shaping us, refining our character, and preparing us for the blessings that are to come. The timing of God's plans is not haphazard or reactive, but intentional and precise, aligned with what is necessary for our growth, understanding, and fulfillment. Learning to trust this timing requires patience, a quality that is increasingly rare in a world that prizes speed and instant results. Patience is not passive waiting, but an active engagement with life in a state of openness and surrender. It is the willingness to remain steadfast and hopeful even when circumstances appear uncertain, to maintain faith that everything unfolds in its right time, and to act with integrity and discernment while allowing the divine process to guide us. This trust does not mean we ignore the world or fail to take action. Rather, it means that our actions are informed by faith, aligned with our purpose, and exercised in harmony with the larger rhythm of life. It calls us to be vigilant, to observe the signs, and to recognize the moments when movement is appropriate, while simultaneously understanding that some forces are beyond our immediate control. One of the most powerful lessons in trusting God's timing is the understanding that delays are often blessings in disguise. What we may perceive as setbacks can, in truth, be periods of preparation. Just as a seed must remain buried in the dark soil before it can sprout, grow, and flourish, our dreams and aspirations often require incubation, reflection, and nurturing before they can fully manifest. Trusting this timing allows us to embrace these periods of gestation, to learn, grow, and develop the strength, wisdom, and resilience necessary to handle the fruits of our labor when they finally emerge. When we rush ahead of divine timing, we risk undermining our own growth and the integrity of our journey. Impatience can lead to hasty decisions, missed opportunities, or paths that are misaligned with our true purpose. Trusting in God's timing, therefore, is an act of courage, a surrender that paradoxically empowers us, as it allows the natural unfolding of events to shape us into who we are meant to be. There is a profound wisdom in understanding that timing is intimately connected with readiness. The universe does not merely grant us what we desire at any given moment. It presents opportunities when we are equipped to handle them with the discernment, humility, and integrity required. To trust God's timing is to trust that we will be provided with what we need when we are truly ready, that doors will open, paths will align, and people will come into our lives at the exact moments that serve our highest good. This understanding invites patience, reflection, and self-awareness, for it requires that we cultivate an inner life attuned to the subtleties of timing, a life that listens deeply to intuition, divine guidance, and the gentle urgings that arise within our hearts. Trusting timing also teaches resilience. Life is unpredictable, and our expectations are often challenged by circumstances beyond our control. Yet when we anchor ourselves in the knowledge that every moment is part of a larger plan, we develop the ability to endure setbacks, to navigate uncertainty with grace, and to maintain hope even when the path ahead seems unclear. Resilience is strengthened by the recognition that timing is deliberate, that every delay or challenge carries with it lessons essential for our development, and that perseverance is rewarded when aligned with divine rhythm. Moreover, trusting the timing of God's plans nurtures a deep sense of peace. Anxiety, worry, and impatience often arise from the illusion that we must control every aspect of our lives, that we must orchestrate events according to our desires and timelines. Yet when we trust the divine timing, we release this illusion, allowing ourselves to experience life with a sense of calm assurance that everything unfolds exactly as it should. This peace is not passive resignation, but an active embrace of faith and confidence in the wisdom of the unseen forces that guide our journey. It encourages mindfulness and presence, allowing us to engage fully in the present moment rather than being consumed by fear of the future or regret of the past. Trusting divine timing also requires humility, for it is an acknowledgement that our understanding is limited and that the universe, in its infinite wisdom, knows what is best for us in ways we may not yet comprehend. This humility does not diminish our agency or our responsibility, but rather enhances it as we act with integrity, awareness, and faith, recognizing that our efforts are most effective when aligned with the larger flow of divine timing. In practical life, this trust manifests in many ways. It is seen in the ability to wait for the right opportunity rather than rushing into choices driven by impatience or fear. It is reflected in the courage to let go of what does not serve us, trusting that what is meant for us will arrive in its appointed time. It is also evident in gratitude for the present moment, in recognition that every stage of life, every experience, and every relationship is an essential part of the journey, perfectly timed to teach, guide, and support us. Trusting timing transforms our perception of success and failure. What may appear as a delay or disappointment may actually be a necessary step toward greater achievement or fulfillment. Life's detours often carry lessons, connections, and growth opportunities that would be missed if we insisted on immediate outcomes. In this light, patience becomes not just a virtue, but a strategic approach to life, one that positions us to receive blessings fully prepared, fully present, and fully aware. It also teaches discernment, helping us to distinguish between paths that are aligned with divine timing and those that are premature or misaligned. This discernment allows us to navigate life with clarity, to make choices rooted in faith and wisdom, and to recognize the subtle signs that indicate when the time is right to act or to wait. As trust in timing deepens, we also cultivate hope. Hope is not wishful thinking. It is a confident expectation rooted in faith, the understanding that every moment, no matter how challenging, is part of a larger, meaningful plan. It encourages us to remain steadfast, to persist in the face of uncertainty, and to continue moving forward with the assurance that divine timing will bring forth what is necessary, just, and true. Trusting timing is, therefore, both an internal and external practice. Internally, it requires cultivating patience, humility, discernment, and resilience. Externally, it involves acting with intention, responding to opportunities as they arise, and engaging fully with the world while remaining aligned with the flow of divine guidance. It is a delicate balance between action and surrender, between effort and faith, between waiting and moving. And it is this balance that allows life to unfold harmoniously, bringing forth results that are not only desired but meaningful, sustainable, and aligned with our higher purpose. In essence, trusting the timing of God's plans is an act of profound faith, a surrender that requires courage, patience, and insight. It invites us to release the need for control, to accept that delays and detours are not failures, but part of a larger orchestration designed for our growth and benefit. It teaches us to live with presence, gratitude, and awareness, to recognize the lessons embedded in every experience, and to embrace the unfolding of life with confidence that everything occurs in the perfect time. This trust shapes our character, strengthens our resilience, and nurtures our hope, allowing us to navigate the complexities of life with grace, clarity, and courage. By cultivating this trust, we align ourselves with the rhythms of life, the flow of divine wisdom, and the unfolding of a plan that is beyond our immediate comprehension, yet perfectly attuned to our needs, purpose, and destiny. It is an ongoing practice, a commitment to observe, reflect, act with integrity, and surrender to the timing that orchestrates our journey, guiding us toward the outcomes we are meant to receive, the relationships we are meant to cultivate, and the growth we are meant to achieve. This practice transforms waiting into a sacred space, uncertainty into opportunity, and patience into power. For we begin to understand that nothing is ever truly lost. Nothing happens too soon or too late, and that the rhythm of life orchestrated by divine timing is always aligned with our highest good. Life presents us with challenges, obstacles, and struggles that often seem insurmountable, yet within each of us resides a power, a strength, and a resilience that is waiting to be awakened. To embrace your power to rise above struggles is to acknowledge that adversity is not a punishment, but an invitation to discover the depth of your courage, the breadth of your resilience, and the strength of your character. Every struggle carries within it the seed of opportunity, the potential for growth, and the chance to transform pain into wisdom, despair into hope, and limitation into liberation. When we face hardship, it is natural to feel fear, doubt, and uncertainty, yet it is precisely in these moments that our inner power has the opportunity to reveal itself. To embrace this power requires a conscious choice, a decision to recognize that no external circumstance, no setback, and no challenge can diminish the inner reservoir of strength that exists within us. This strength is not something that can be taken from us, nor is it contingent upon the approval of others or the ease of our circumstances. It is a fundamental part of our being. A force that has the capacity to transform even the darkest moments into catalysts for growth, resilience, and empowerment. Many of us underestimate our own capacity to endure, to persevere, and to rise above difficulty. We allow self-doubt, fear, and the voices of external criticism to convince us that we are powerless, that our struggles define us, or that we are destined to remain trapped in circumstances beyond our control. Yet when we embrace our power, we begin to see that struggles are not defining moments, but shaping moments. They mold us, strengthen us, and reveal aspects of our character that would have remained hidden had life remained easy and predictable. Rising above struggles requires self-awareness, a deep understanding of who we are, and a recognition of the resilience that lies dormant within us. It involves acknowledging our vulnerabilities, accepting our humanity, and yet refusing to be defined or limited by our circumstances. It is an act of courage to look adversity in the eye and declare that we will not be defeated, that we have the capacity to learn, grow, and emerge stronger on the other side. The journey of rising above struggle is also a journey of self-discovery. It reveals the depth of our patience, the strength of our perseverance, and the extent to which we are capable of transformation. Each challenge offers an opportunity to uncover hidden talents, to strengthen our emotional resilience, and to develop a clarity of purpose that can only be gained through experience. The more we embrace our power, the more we recognize that obstacles are not obstacles in the ultimate sense, but stepping stones, teachers, and guides that lead us toward greater self-realization, fulfillment, and wisdom. To embrace our power is to cultivate a mindset that views struggles not as permanent roadblocks, but as temporary circumstances that can be navigated, learned from, and ultimately transcended. It requires a shift in perspective, a reframing of challenges as opportunities, and a commitment to approach adversity with courage, determination, and unwavering faith in our capacity to overcome. This perspective is not naive or superficial. It is grounded in the understanding that life is inherently unpredictable and that every human experience contains both difficulty and potential. Rising above struggles also demands resilience, which is cultivated not in comfort, but in the midst of difficulty. Resilience is the ability to withstand pressure, to recover from setbacks, and to continue moving forward even when the path seems uncertain. It is strengthened through experience, reflection, and the conscious choice to persevere despite fear, doubt, or exhaustion. When we rise above a challenge, we expand our sense of what is possible, deepen our confidence in ourselves, and reinforce the belief that no struggle is greater than the power within us to overcome it. Embracing our power requires courage, for it calls us to confront not only external challenges, but also internal obstacles, self-limiting beliefs, negative self-talk, and the fears that hold us back. These internal struggles are often the most difficult to overcome because they are subtle, persistent, and deeply ingrained. Yet by facing them with honesty, compassion, and determination, we awaken a power that is both transformative and liberating. This power allows us to reclaim our narrative, redefine our identity, and rise above circumstances that once seemed insurmountable. It also teaches us the importance of perseverance and persistence. Success and growth are rarely immediate. They are the result of consistent effort, reflection, and the willingness to continue moving forward despite setbacks and delays. By embracing our power, we learn to see value in every effort, no matter how small, and to recognize that each step forward, no matter how tentative, contributes to our ultimate triumph. Struggles also provide an opportunity to cultivate empathy and compassion, both for ourselves and for others. When we rise above our own challenges, we gain a deeper understanding of the difficulties faced by those around us. This awareness fosters kindness, patience, and a willingness to support others in their journeys. By embracing our power, we not only transform our own lives, but also become a source of inspiration and guidance for those who witness our courage and resilience. Moreover, rising above struggles is a spiritual practice as much as it is a personal endeavor. It involves connecting with a source of strength greater than ourselves, whether that is God, the universe, or our inner wisdom. This connection provides guidance, perspective, and support, reminding us that we are never alone in our journey and that every challenge is met with resources, insights, and resilience that we may not initially recognize. Embracing our power also requires patience, for transformation and growth do not occur overnight. It involves a sustained commitment to facing difficulties, learning from them, and allowing them to shape us without succumbing to despair or bitterness. Patience enables us to endure periods of uncertainty, to trust in the process, and to maintain faith that our struggles will ultimately serve a higher purpose. It is through patience that we develop the capacity to rise repeatedly, to recover from setbacks, and to approach each new challenge with renewed strength and clarity. Rising above struggles also demands self-discipline, the ability to manage our emotions, focus our energy, and persist in our efforts even when circumstances are challenging or discouraging. This discipline is not rigid or harsh, but steady and intentional, guiding our actions in alignment with our values, goals, and purpose. By cultivating self-discipline, we harness our power in a way that is sustainable, effective, and transformative, enabling us to navigate adversity with grace and confidence. The act of embracing our power transforms the meaning of struggle itself. What once seemed overwhelming becomes manageable. What once seemed impossible becomes achievable, and what once seemed painful becomes a source of insight, growth, and resilience. We begin to see that power is not the absence of difficulty, but the ability to rise in the face of it, to maintain faith and clarity when others might falter, and to continue moving forward with courage, integrity, and hope. Each struggle we overcome strengthens our capacity to face future challenges, creating a compounding effect that expands our resilience, wisdom, and confidence over time. Moreover, embracing our power encourages us to celebrate our victories, no matter how small, recognizing that every triumph over adversity reinforces our strength, affirms our worth, and deepens our understanding of our capabilities. These celebrations are not mere vanity or pride. They are acknowledgments of the inner resources we have cultivated, the courage we have exercised, and the resilience we have demonstrated. They remind us that rising above struggles is both an achievement and a testament to the power within us. To fully embrace our power, we must also cultivate a mindset of possibility and hope. Struggles may challenge our assumptions, test our limits, and push us to our breaking points, yet they also reveal the boundless potential of the human spirit. By maintaining hope and an unwavering belief in our capacity to overcome, we tap into a source of energy, motivation, and creativity that allows us to navigate even the most difficult circumstances with skill, grace, and determination. This mindset transforms adversity into opportunity, challenge into growth, and struggle into empowerment. Finally, embracing our power to rise above struggles requires a recognition that we are both resilient and worthy. It calls us to honor our journey, to acknowledge the lessons learned, the strength gained, and the wisdom acquired. It reminds us that our struggles do not diminish us, but rather define the depth of our courage, the richness of our character, and the expansiveness of our potential. In embracing this power, we step fully into our capacity to transform our lives, inspire others, and navigate the complexities of existence with confidence, grace, and unwavering hope. Faith is more than a belief in the unseen. It is a commitment to act in alignment with the truths we hold, a willingness to move forward even when the path is uncertain, and a recognition that each step we take carries significance far beyond what we can immediately perceive. To act with faith is to acknowledge that life is a journey guided by forces greater than ourselves, forces that shape, support, and direct us toward outcomes that serve our highest good, even when the outcome is not yet visible or fully understood. Every action, no matter how small, is imbued with purpose when taken with faith, and every step, no matter how tentative, contributes to the unfolding of our destiny. Faith transforms ordinary choices into acts of courage, ordinary moments into opportunities for growth, and ordinary actions into building blocks for a life of meaning, impact, and fulfillment. It asks us to trust that our intentions, guided by love, integrity, and purpose, resonate with the greater rhythm of life, and that the universe conspires to support those who move forward with conviction and trust. Acting with faith requires courage because it asks us to step into the unknown, to embrace uncertainty, and to move forward without guarantees. It challenges us to overcome fear, doubt, and hesitation, and to trust that the divine guidance we feel, the inner wisdom we hear, and the nudges we receive are sufficient to direct us. Courage and faith are inseparable companions. For without courage, faith remains abstract, and without faith, courage may falter in the face of uncertainty. Each action taken with faith strengthens the mind, heart, and spirit, creating a feedback loop in which confidence, trust, and clarity grow alongside experience. To act with faith is also to honor the present moment, to recognize that every choice made now carries consequences and meaning, and that procrastination, hesitation, or inaction can obscure the opportunities that exist before us. Faith demands presence, attentiveness, and a willingness to respond to the calls of life, for each step we take is part of the larger tapestry of our journey, interwoven with the lives of others, the unfolding of events, and the guidance of unseen forces. In a world that often emphasizes certainty, speed, and visible results, acting with faith can feel counterintuitive. It asks us to relinquish the need for immediate proof, to trust that our efforts, though unseen, are part of a greater process, and to recognize that outcomes are often shaped by cumulative actions, rather than single moments of achievement. This perspective allows us to find purpose and value in every effort, to see meaning in perseverance, and to appreciate the significance of consistent, intentional movement toward our goals and dreams. Acting with faith also nurtures resilience, for it equips us to navigate setbacks, disappointments, and obstacles with the understanding that these experiences are part of the process, not signs of failure. When we act with faith, we develop the ability to persist, to adapt, and to continue moving forward despite adversity, knowing that each step matters and contributes to the larger pattern of our growth, success, and fulfillment. Moreover, faith transforms the way we perceive challenges, turning obstacles into opportunities and difficulties into lessons. Each step taken with faith becomes a declaration that we are not controlled by circumstances, that our inner guidance is reliable, and that our efforts, when aligned with purpose and integrity, are meaningful and consequential. Now, acting with faith is an exercise in trust. Not blind trust, but an informed, deliberate trust rooted in awareness, reflection, and alignment with our values and aspirations. It invites us to consider our choices thoughtfully, to discern the steps that resonate with our higher purpose, and to act decisively even when uncertainty surrounds us. In this sense, faith is both a guide and a compass, directing us toward actions that matter and away from hesitation that diminishes our potential. Each step we take in faith also has a ripple effect, influencing not only our own lives, but the lives of those around us. Our actions, motivated by courage, purpose, and conviction, inspire others, create opportunities, and generate momentum that extends beyond what we can immediately see. This interconnectedness underscores the importance of intentional action, reminding us that every choice we make carries weight, that every decision has impact, and that our willingness to act in faith can be a source of hope and inspiration to others navigating their own journeys. Acting with faith requires a delicate balance between patience and initiative. It asks us to recognize when to act and when to wait, when to push forward and when to allow the process to unfold. This discernment is cultivated through reflection, mindfulness, and attentiveness to the subtle guidance that arises within us and in the world around us. It is through this balance that our steps are most effective, most aligned with our purpose, and most capable of creating meaningful impact. Faith also teaches us to embrace uncertainty as an inherent part of life rather than a threat. When we act with faith, we accept that outcomes are not always predictable, that risks exist, and that success may take forms different from what we initially imagined. Yet in embracing this uncertainty, we find freedom, courage, and creativity, for we are no longer constrained by fear of the unknown, but empowered by trust in our guidance, our abilities, and the unfolding of life's plan. Acting with faith is inherently transformative, for it reshapes our relationship with ourselves, others, and the world. It cultivates self-confidence, strengthens our resilience, and deepens our understanding of the power of intention, action, and perseverance. It teaches us that we are co-creators in the unfolding of our lives, capable of influencing outcomes, shaping our experiences, and contributing meaningfully to the world around us through deliberate, conscious action. Every step taken with faith also reinforces a sense of purpose, aligning our actions with our deepest values, aspirations, and sense of calling. This alignment creates coherence between thought, intention, and action, allowing us to move forward with clarity, integrity, and conviction. As we act in faith, we become increasingly aware of the significance of our choices, the impact of our efforts, and the interconnectedness of our journey with the journeys of others. In this awareness lies empowerment. For when we recognize that every step matters, we are motivated to act with intention, to make choices that reflect our highest selves, and to embrace the responsibility inherent in the freedom to shape our lives and influence the world around us. Acting with faith is also a practice in humility, for it acknowledges that while we are powerful agents of change, we are guided, supported, and influenced by forces beyond our immediate perception. This humility fosters gratitude, perspective, and a sense of interconnectedness, reminding us that our actions, though significant, are part of a larger unfolding story in which we play an essential but collaborative role. Faith invites consistency, urging us to maintain effort, commitment, and alignment, even when immediate results are not visible. It teaches us that progress is cumulative, that persistence yields growth, and that meaningful transformation often occurs gradually through repeated steps, sustained effort, and unwavering belief in the significance of our journey. Each action becomes a building block, contributing to the larger structure of our lives, and each moment of courage reinforces the foundation upon which future achievements, insights, and successes are built. Acting with faith also fosters creativity and innovation, as it encourages us to explore possibilities, take calculated risks, and move beyond the limitations imposed by fear, doubt, or convention. Faith emboldens us to pursue paths that may seem unconventional or uncertain, to experiment, to adapt, and to embrace the unexpected, knowing that each step, guided by intention and trust, is meaningful and purposeful. By acting with faith, we cultivate a sense of inner power, clarity, and direction that enables us to navigate life with confidence, courage, and grace. We learn to trust ourselves, our intuition, and our judgment, and we become increasingly attuned to the subtle cues and guidance that inform our decisions and actions. This trust is reinforced with each step, creating a self-sustaining cycle of empowerment, alignment, and purposeful action. Moreover, faith teaches us resilience in the face of adversity. Challenges, setbacks, and disappointments are inevitable, yet acting with faith enables us to continue forward, to persist with hope, and to maintain confidence in the value and impact of our efforts. Every step taken, no matter how small or difficult, becomes a testament to our strength, our commitment, and our capacity to rise above circumstances that may once have seemed overwhelming or insurmountable. Acting with faith also transforms our perception of success and failure. When each step matters, when every action is imbued with purpose and intention, success becomes less about immediate outcomes and more about alignment with our values, growth through experience, and contribution to a greater purpose. Failure, in turn, becomes a teacher, an opportunity to refine our approach, deepen our understanding, and strengthen our resolve. It is through this lens that every step, whether forward, sideways, or even backward, carries significance and contributes meaningfully to the trajectory of our lives. In essence, acting with faith is an ongoing practice, a commitment to move forward with trust, courage, and awareness. It requires discernment, patience, and the ability to respond to opportunities and challenges with intentionality and conviction. Each step matters not only because it propels us forward, but because it shapes our character, our journey, and our contribution to the world. By embracing action guided by faith, we cultivate resilience, clarity, purpose, and empowerment, and we participate fully in the unfolding of a life that is meaningful, intentional, and aligned with our highest calling.